All right, so 2.1 day 2 relational functions. This is going to be a little bit easier than yesterday, I think. So when they ask you to evaluate each function for a given value of x, that's a fancy way of saying solve when x equals something. Okay? So this is pretty straightforward. Evaluate each function for the given value of x and write the input and the output f of x as an ordered pair. Okay, so the input. So first what we need to do is we need to plug in this 2 in for this x here. Another thing I should mention, anytime you see f of x, anytime, don't let it freak you out because it's going to be around. It's just another way to say y. So if you want, you could cross it out and put y every time if that makes you happy. I won't, but just know when you see f of x, and it can even be a different letter besides f, g of x, h of x, you're going to see a bunch of them. Just know that that's just a fancy way for saying y. Because we're getting into function notation and higher level math, that's why we're doing it. Okay, anyway, I need to plug in that 2, so this would be 12 times 2 minus 4, okay? If you want, you could put it in your calculator, or you could just do it. 12 times 2 is 24, minus 4 is 20. Okay, so your y equals 20. The last part, you did all the hard part, so now they just want to write the input and the output as an ordered pair. So you just write the x. What was the x? It was 2. The y value was 20. That's all they want. Nothing too crazy. Okay, this one, same thing. Plug in that 4 for our x. So I have 1/4 times 4 minus 8. If you're a little not sure about your fractions, put it in a calculator. Those cancel, and this turns into be 1. So 1 minus 8 would give me -7. So the ordered pair would be 4, -7. Okay, so on this one, this is just like the homework. They want you to plug each one of these numbers in. Okay, and if you're in class, I will show you a shortcut. I can't show it on this because I can't show my calculator on my screen share. So ask me whenever you get back or whenever I see you next time, and I will show you the shortcut. But otherwise, you're just going to have to manually do this. Okay, so when you're doing this, be careful with the exponents. So remember, this is going to be 0. The first one we're plugging in is 0. So 0 squared minus 1, that would just be -1, right? If you're going to do this in a calculator, for this negative, you must have parentheses around that -2 when you plug it in for x. If you don't, it'll be wrong. So -2 squared minus 1, -2 times -2 is +4, minus 1 will give you 3. And then the last one would be 3 squared minus 1. That would be, what would that be? 9 minus 1, so 8. All right, this one got the lines got a little off. That's okay. So absolute value, remember those are absolute value symbols. So you might have to do a little bit of thinking on this one. That's okay. -3 plus 2, absolute value minus 3. You solve what's inside the absolute value, so that gives you -1. So I have the absolute value of -1 minus 3. What's the absolute value of -1? Well, it's 1, and 1 minus 3 would give you 2. So the next one, we've got the absolute value of 4 plus 2. Absolute value minus 3. So 4 plus 2 would give you the absolute value of 6. Minus 3 would just be 3. And then the last one, the absolute value of 1 plus 2 minus 3. That's the absolute value of 3 minus 3, which would just be 0. Okay, and this one's getting a little crazy. We got a square root. Your calculator will do this, depending upon your calculator you're using. I really like the Desmos Scientific one. It's really user-friendly and it shows up like nicely. If you're using a TI-30 and you get a different answer, you're probably needing to close your parentheses. So just ask me about it if you're struggling. Otherwise, seriously, just use the Desmos calculator. Okay, so anyway, we have 11 minus 2 plus 1. So that gives me, got to do what's inside the square root. So that'd be the square root of 9 plus 1, which would be 3 plus 1, so 4. Okay, square root of 6 minus 2 plus 1, which would be the square root of 4 plus 1. So that would be 2 plus 1, which is 3. Okay, square root of 18 minus 2 plus 1 would be the square root of 16, which would be 4 plus 1. So this one equals, I'll just write it down here, 5, since the line is off. Okay, so this next one people struggle with, but it's okay. They're word problems, I'm sorry. The trick to a word problem is to break it down piece by piece. Like every single piece they tell you, what does that mean and where does it go in the problem? So a function rule, okay, that's the blank, is an equation that represents an output value in terms of an input value. You can write a function rule in function notation. So for the example is create the function rule and find the cost of the total cost of the following situations. So you go to the Crocs store and you purchase you have a purchase of $120 plus 8% tax. So let's just talk about what this means. So you buy $120. Okay, actually you have the purchase price plus the tax equals your total, right? That's every time you go to the store, that's what it is. Okay, so now let's talk about putting that in an equation. So it would be the purchase is $120. How do you figure tax? Well, if you didn't know that, you multiply to take 8% of 120, you do 0.08, that's the decimal version of 8%, times 120, and that's going to give you your tax. So then it equals, I'm going to say, since we're putting it in function or writing the function rule, I'm going to put f of x. Okay, so that's what they're wanting. So now actually just stick it in your calculator and let's see what we get. I just paused the video and I got $129.60. Okay, remember on these problems for money, always round to 2 decimal places. The spacing is off on this one too. Okay, you take your significant other for a date to Taco Bell. The dinner costs $21.43 plus 6.5% tax. So you're going to do the exact same thing. So the function rule, so f of x, and it doesn't matter on equal signs which side you put it on. Usually they put it on the left, but it doesn't really matter. So you're going to have the initial cost, 21.43, plus your tax, and remember you move the decimal place over twice, so that would be 0.065 times the price. So I just put it in my calculator, and this one we have to round, that's okay. So you're rounding 2 decimal places, so you get $22.82. Okay. All right, next, we're almost done. So rewrite the relation as a mapping diagram. These are fun. So draw your 2 little ovals. Put your numbers, looks like they're both in order for us. That's nice. So we have, or both columns, I mean. So we have 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, oh, sorry, the Y's aren't. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Because remember, they must be in order. All right, 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 3, 7 to 5. That's it. So fun. Okay, do this one. Draw your ovals. Oops. Let's try that again. Good enough. Okay, so we've got, remember, least to greatest, so -1. We've got 2 zeros, so we only write them once, and then 1. The next one is -2, 1, 3, 4. Let's draw our lines. There you go. Oops. Okay, right now, write the relations as a set of ordered pairs. So you just do the opposite, and the order does not matter on this one. So I have 1, 3, 2, 2, 2, 4, and 3, 5. Okay, I'm going to save time for the video. The next one is exactly like that. So, all right, that is it. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day.